All right, so we are going to be going through the topic of algebra. This is probably the most important topic of all of mathematics. You start this topic, some of you may have started it in primary school, but really you get into the topic in year 7 and it's continued all the way up until the end of year 12. So it's a crucial topic and it forms really the foundation of mathematics. So let's have a look at collecting like terms. And if we look at question 1, you can see here that we've actually got 3 terms. This is called a term, this is called a term, and this is called a term. And if you compare these 3 terms, you can see that the 3a and the 5a are what we call like terms. When we are deciding whether the terms are like or not, we look at the letter, okay? So in question 1, we have 3a and 5a are the like terms. Question 2, you've got x, 8y, 3y. So the like terms here are the 8y and the 3y. Question 3, circle the like terms. Again, if you have a look at this carefully, you can see that the first one and the third one. See, the first one is 2x. The third one is really minus 1x. Okay? When you're looking to see which terms are alike, you're just looking at the actual letter, or what we call in algebra, we call this a pronumeral. Okay? All right, so the answer for question 3 is the 2x and the minus 1x. Okay? Let's skip a few now and go to question 6. And let's have a look at question 6. You can see here we have the 3x squared, the x squared and the 3x squared. Okay, they are the like terms. This is not the same as these two here, because the 5x, the x is on its own, where the other two have x squared. Okay, so the like terms here are x squared and 3x squared. Excellent. Moving right along now to question 7. Circle the like terms. It's going to be the minus 5a and the a. All right, I think we can skip a few now. All right, let's go to question 11. This is a very important one, okay? And I'll show you why. You can see clearly from the beginning that the a squared and the 3b are definitely not going to be like terms with anything else on this list. Now, you can also see that 5ab and 3ab are definitely like terms. But what about the 2ba? Is that the same as them? Well, it is. And let me show you why. If you have 3 times 7, you get 21. And if I rewrite the question as 7 times 3, you also get 21. In other words, when you're multiplying two numbers, it doesn't matter about the order of the numbers, okay? So 3 times 7 is 21 and 7 times 3 is 21. Why is that important? Because that means if I've got a times b, it's going to be the same as b times a. Okay? So when you have 5ab, 3ab, the 2ba is also a like term. As I was saying before, when you have ab is the same as ba. Okay? So the like terms here are 5ab, 3ab, and the 2ba. Okay, let's skip a few now. Let's go to question 14. And we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 terms in total. And we need to decide which terms are the same. Well, immediately, let's not even think about the 2xy there, because everything else looks like it has squareds. And here you've got x squared y. Here you've got x squared y. And here you've got x squared y. You can see that. Okay. So these are, so x squared y, 3x squared y, and minus 2, even though this says yx squared, remember what I said earlier, this is the same as minus 2x squared y. Okay, you can move the x squared to there and move the y over. So they are like terms. So why is this not a like term? Because this one has x and then y squared. Okay, you can see that it's got an x and then the y is being squared. So this is not the same as the ones I have circled, because the ones that we have circled, the squared is on the x. So that's very important. Okay, so the answer here is x squared y, 3x squared y, and minus 2yx squared. They are the 3 like terms. Okay, excellent. Now, why are like terms important? Now that we know like terms and what like terms are, why are they important? They're important because in algebra we can only add or subtract the like terms. That's why they're important. Let me show you what I mean. If you ask me to simplify 2a plus 3a, my answer would be 5a. Okay? See, I've got 2 apples and another 3 apples gives me 5 apples. Okay? So because the 2a and the 3a are like terms, I'm allowed to bring them together. But if I now said to you, simplify 2a plus 3b, the 2a and the 3b are not like terms, so I can't bring them together. So I can't simplify that anymore. Okay? So you see for question, the first one, 2a plus 3a simplifies to 5a. But the 2a plus 3b, because they're not like terms, can't be added, and you must keep it how it is. So let's now have a look at question 16. 4a plus 3a is 7a. The next one, 2k plus 6k is 8k. The next one, 5y plus y is 6y. The next one, m plus 9m is 10m. And so on and so on. I think you get the idea now. Okay, they're all like terms. And moving right along, even if you look at question 22, 4xy plus 5xy is simply 9xy. Okay. Question 23, 3x squared. We don't really care what's here, okay, as long as they're the same. 3x squared plus 4x squared simplifies to 7x squared. Okay. Let's go to question 25 now. 5ab plus 2ba. This is exactly the same as 5ab plus 2ab. Okay? You can rewrite the 2ba as 2ab. It doesn't matter, they're exactly the same. So now the answer is 7ab. Okay, the rest of these are relatively straightforward. Question 32, y take away y is 0. You can have 0 as one of your answers. Okay, question 37, again, 5xy minus yx is exactly the same as 5xy minus 1xy, which is 4xy. Don't forget your integers or your negative numbers from the beginning of year 7. Question 38. 2x minus 7x is simply, well, 2 take away 7 is minus 5, so it's minus 5x. Excellent. So these are all very similar. Excuse me. All right, let's now go to 49. Let's have a look at this one over here. How many terms are there in this question? Well, if you have a look, this is a term, this is a term, and this is a term. So there are actually 3 terms. And which terms are the like terms? The 5x and the 3x. They're the like terms. And remember, we can take the 5x and the plus 3x and we can bring them together. We can simplify them. What's 5x plus 3x? 8x. And the 2y, you can't collect it because it's not the same. So you just put it back where it was. So if you think about this question, what have you really achieved? What have you really done? What you've done is you've taken the x's and brought them together to make them 1. Next one, question 50. The like terms are the 3b and the plus 2b. So now we'll leave the 6a alone and the 3b plus 2b becomes 5b. Question 51. Here are the like terms. 4m plus 5m is 9m. So that is simplified to that and put the plus 4 back. Let's go to question 54. Having a look at this. Let's look at the like terms. So that's the 7m squared and the plus 5m squared. This is not a like term because it's only got an m. So now 7m squared plus 5m squared is 12m squared. So these have simplified to 12m squared, and now we put the plus 3m back where it was. Excellent. So let's keep them going now. Let's do question 60. It's not really done any different. The like terms, 9k squared. Notice when I circle the term, I always include the sign with it. So that minus belongs to the 4k squared, and this belongs to the 9k, and the 9k squared at the beginning, you can assume it has a plus in front of it. Okay. So what's 9k squared minus 4k squared? That's going to be equal to 5k squared. So that's complete. They've now been simplified. And now and now again the minus 9k just goes back afterwards. Okay. Okay, so moving right along, let's have a look. Question 65. You got the 8xy, and over here as well. Okay. Remember, yx is exactly the same as xy. 8xy minus 8xy cancel each other out. It's basically 0. So you don't write anything down for that. And the minus 8x is left over. Excuse me. So that is now complete. Now, what I'm going to do is, excuse me, I'm going to put a line across here. This is where I'm going to explain this very carefully, and I want you to please pay attention. Because before question 66, the questions were relatively straightforward. And even 66 onwards, if you pay attention and concentrate, it doesn't have to be any harder. Students that often have trouble with this get confused with the signs. So I'm going to show you how to avoid that problem. Let's look at the like terms. Minus 6m is like terms with the plus 5m. They're the two like terms. Okay. So now ask yourself, what's minus 6 plus 5? The answer is minus 1. So minus 6m plus 5m is minus 1m. Now, once you do that, you should stop and not write anything. Don't write plus, don't write minus, just stop for a second. And now let's look at what's left over. What you've got left over is a plus 3p. So all you do is simply put the plus 3p back. You see, that was simple. Let's look at the next one. Let's circle the like terms. Okay. So ask yourself, what's minus 11 plus 13? The answer is 2. So of course, you're going to put plus 2. You're not going to put minus 2. Again, let me explain that again. Minus 11, remember here you're collecting. You're taking the terms from different parts and you're collecting them together. Minus 11 plus 13 is 2. In other words, minus 11ab plus 13ab is 2ab. So of course, I'm going to write down 2ab. Okay? Because I do get students asking me, oh, there's a minus over here. That's fine. What we want to know is when you take this and collect it with this, what the final answer is. And when I take the minus 11b and I add it to 13ab, I get 2ab. So of course I'm going to write down 2ab. Now this has not been touched, so you put the plus 7a back where it was. And if you follow that protocol, you won't have any problems. Even with the next one. Let's circle the like terms. This has got an x y squared, and this has got an x y squared. This one has got an x squared y, so it's not the same. Again, what's minus 10 plus 15? The answer is 5. So that's what you're going to write down. And put the minus 5x squared y back where it was. The next one, got minus 6x, minus 6x, they're like terms. What's minus 6 minus 6? Minus 12. I did find last week when I was teaching that some of the students has forgotten their directed number. You know, their positives and negatives. I do urge you to go back and do some revision on that, please, if you are one of those students. But what's minus 6x minus 6x? It's minus 12x. And now you stop. So they're finished. What's left over? The plus 3y. So I'm going to put plus 3y. Let's do question 77. Okay, you've got, how many terms do you have? You've got 1, 2, 3, 4 terms. Let's circle the like terms. So 3ab is like terms with the 2ab over here. Okay, those two are like terms. But also, the 7bc is like terms with the 5bc. Okay, so what we're going to do, we're going to collect these two and simplify them. And we're going to collect these two and simplify them. So what does 3ab plus 2ab equal to? Well, it's 5ab. So once you've collected them two, just stop. And now let's have a look at the two rectangles. What's 7bc plus 5bc? It's 12bc. So I write down plus 12bc. And that is now complete. All right, let's have a look at question 81. Again, let's circle the like terms. So you've got 6k. You've got minus 2k. Oops. I'm expecting a circle there, or there we go. Okay. So they're like terms, and I might do the others in different color. You got the 9p, and you have the minus 5p. Remember what I said earlier? The 6k has a plus in front of it. Now the 9p, that belongs to the 9p. That minus belongs to the 2k, and that minus belongs to the 5p. Now let's keep it simple. What's 6k minus 2k? 4k. So write down 4k. So they're simplified and that's done. Now, this is where students in the past, if they haven't learnt this properly, they get confused. They say, should I write down a plus or should I write down a minus? You don't write down anything at the moment. What you do is you ask yourself, what's 9p minus 5p? 9p minus 5p is 4p. So you're going to write down plus 4p. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to rewrite that question to show you something. Let's say the question said 6k plus 9p minus 2k minus 12p. Let's say this was the question. First, circle the like terms. 6k minus 2k, they're like terms. And let's put rectangles around the other ones. 9p minus 12p. Okay, this is very important, what I'm going to explain now. 6k minus 2k is 4k. So they're done. Now stop. Don't write down plus and don't write down minus. Now, what is 9p minus 12p? It's minus 3p. So now I'm going to write down minus 3p. So In the original question, you had 9p minus 5p is 4p, so I wrote down plus 4p. In the question that I just made up, 9p take away 12p is minus 3p, so I write down minus 3p. And that should help you really explain, really understand, what we're talking about here. Okay, a couple more questions and then we are going to wrap it up. You got 10xy minus 8xy is 2xy, and you stop. And now plus 7 minus 3 is 4. So I'm going to write down plus 4. Let's go to question 91. You got 4m minus 2m. And then you got minus 2k minus 1k. 4m take away 2m is simply 2m. And you stop. And now minus 2k minus 1k is minus 3k. So put down minus 3k. You can see here, even with a question as long as this, it doesn't matter how many terms there are. This one's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 terms. No problem. Let's have a look. 7p squared q minus 10p squared q. Those two are like terms. Now what's 7 take away 10? Minus 3. So minus 3p squared q. So those two are now finished. Now you've got 2q squared p plus 1q squared p. What's 2 plus 1? 3. So I'm going to write down plus 3q squared p. Those two are now finished. And what's minus q squared p squared plus q squared p squared is 0. So there's no need to write down anything else. So I hope that explains like terms and collecting like terms quite well. I'd advise you, please, as always, practice makes perfect, and please check your answers as you are going along. I wish you all the best with this, and I look forward to seeing you next time.